Running at the 47, I don't necessarily think they wanted to. I couldn't tell if it was an onside kick or he tried to just pooch it past the original line. Either way, it's a dangerous situation because you give a team like Penn Hills excellent field position, but you do avoid their big play return.
Next weekend, beats the condition at the 47-yard line. Bob, go figure.
Starting at the 47, I don't necessarily think they wanted to. I couldn't tell if it was an onside kick or he tried to just pooch it past the original line. Either way, it's a dangerous situation because you give a team like Penn Hills excellent field position, but you do avoid their big play return men.
So the Indians, the healthiest they've been all season, being very dangerous here. Starting off near midfield. First play from scrimmage, the inside handoff to Sean Bonner, who's trying to get some running room around the right side. But an excellent open field tackle by Brad Scott, number 7 of the Kiski Cavaliers, to bring Sean Bonner down. He gets past Brad Scott, and Sean Bonner is off to the races.
Yes, he did, and we've seen that play time in and time out. Sean Bonner on the inside handoff. He'll lose a yard this time. It's been very effective, and good ball faking that time by Lenny Gilmer, the sophomore, soon-to-be junior quarterback for the Penn Hills Indians, who took over in that Woodland Hills game after Gallon Hood suffered a concussion.
Mason Murray and Hoggy Livingston in a split back formation. Lenny Gilmer in a quarterback. Sean Bonner goes wide on the near side. And this time it's Mason Murray with some running room, and he gets into Kiski Area Cavalier territory, or just call it Kiski territory.
6 yards for Mason Murray. That's the bread and butter play, no doubt, for the Penn Hills offense. Off tackle with Mason Murray, very, very effective all year.
And Mason Murray hobbled by a bad ankle the last few weeks, played sparingly last week, perhaps to Penn Hills' advantage, because this week he's running like there was nothing wrong with his ankle. And again, Garrett Livingston and Mason Murray in the backfield. Sean Bonner wide on the near side. And this time it's Garrett Livingston with some running room. Garrett Livingston gets deep in Kiski Area territory, picks up a first down and a whole lot of yardage as the Penn Hills Indians will take over, or will continue from the Kiski 26.
17 yards for Garrett Livingston. That quick handoff to the first man through, it's been effective. We saw a couple touchdowns scored this year by Penn Hills from that formation. This time a big 17-yard gain and an initial first down of the evening.
Garrett Livingston comes out. The sophomore Victor Strader comes in as the Indians go to an I formation with B.J. DiNatale wide to the far side of the field. And this time it's Mason Murray who picks up 3. And the Indians will just continue to try to pound it at you with Mason Murray up the middle. But the Kiski defense has 2 excellent linebackers. They play a 5-2 defense. Their linebackers, Joe Perfetta and C.J. Miller. Perfetta number 30, Miller number 31.
Neither man very big, but they will stick you.
Ryan Such in right now, linebacker. And again, it's Mason Murray who is close to another Penn Hills Indian first down. And it looks like he has it. Needed to get to the 21. He's just over the 21-yard line. The officials will measure. But from here, it looks like Murray has another Penn Hills Indian first down, and they're still on the move.
The 16.
Oh, the 16. What did I say?
This is the 21.
Well, it's early in the game. Well, at least I can tell they had the first down.
It is a first down.
First down, 9:08 to go. The Penn Hills Indians 1st and 10 on the Kiski 16-yard line.
So this is the dangerous thing of trying an onside kick if indeed it was. Penn Hills has ran 5 plays. This will be number 6, and they're ready almost at the Kiski 15.
Especially dangerous against a Penn Hills team, which I think is just absolutely ready to explode. Again, Gilmer under center, and again, it's Mason Murray who gets over the 15. They'll spot the ball at the 12-yard line, a pickup of 4, and the Indians will have 2nd and 6 deep in Kiski country. Opening drive for the Penn Hills Indians, decked out in the red jerseys, red pants, gold helmets. And again, it's Mason Murray over the right side. Murray crosses over the 10 down near the 5-yard line. Again, close to another Penn Hills Indian first down, but I think it'll be third and very short for the Indians.
Good power running that time by Mason Murray. And again, the off-tackle play. He runs it so well. This time just put his head down, bowled for yardage, took a couple tacklers with him. Down close to the first down, just about a yard short.
Of course, credit the line play of the Hogs. Mike Johnson, the center, Mike White, and Damon Gibson, the guards, Kevin McCoy and Billy Craver, the tackles. Don't forget Ronnie Graham. We saw him last week hurt his knee. He's back up playing. He's in at tight end. B.J. DiNatale often at the split end position. But a tight formation, a power eye for the Penn Hills Indians. And it's Mason Murray again who crosses over the 5. He's down near the goal line. Feet still going. And he's just short. We'll mark it at the 1. It'll be first and goal for the Indians.
Again, excellent power running. And you can tell Mason Murray kind of sniffed out the goal line, but unable to make it. But Penn Hills will take it first and goal from the Kiski Area 1.
And very dangerous from this area, especially with the likes of Mike Johnston, Billy Craver, Damon Gibson, and Mike White on that line. All Lenny Gilmer really needs to do is tuck that ball behind Mike White or Billy Craver. Even Damon Gibson. Get it behind the guards. Get it behind Gibson or White. Mason Murray deep in the power I formation. And it is going to be Mason Murray who jumps in for the Penn Hills touchdown. And just like that, the Indians are up 6-0 over Kiski with 7:06 to go here in the first quarter.
9 plays it took Penn Hills to go 53 yards. 7 of those are Mason Murray carries, including the 1-yard touchdown plunge. And all on the ground. That's a typical Penn Hills churn it out drive. And it's going to be to their advantage today because they have a definite size advantage with those offensive and defensive linemen.
Victor Strader will hold. Brian Fisher will kick. Victor had a little bit of trouble in practice last night holding on to the snaps. He's done well all season. Gets a snap down. The kick is up and the kick is blocked. Mark Brink breaks through the line to block the Fisher kick. And the Indians settle for 6. So the Indians did what they wanted. They jumped out in front early here in the first quarter. Now let's see if the defense can do what it wants and just stall the offensive attack of the Kiski Area Cavaliers.
And that's a Kiski attack.
.57 to go here in the first quarter. Down by 6 to the Penn Hills Indians.
One thing all year, Billy, Penn Hills has had a very, very consistent defense. They've done a nice job, kind of susceptible to some big pass plays at time, but all year they've been very, very consistent. Of course, anchored by that defensive line, which has fought the injury bug and fought through it well. And as you mentioned, they're probably the healthiest they've been since possibly like week 2.
Kiski in the I formation. Kiski's going to throw the ball on first down. The ball is incomplete. Pass intended out for Tony Chin. Jason Klauser comes out throwing the football. The ball comes up short to Chin.
Chin will be the top receiver that Klauser will look for. Came out and looked for him right away. Obviously, the pass was a little bit underthrown. Chin is the top receiver, only a junior, and they will also look for their tight ends. But they tried the little out pattern, and Chin was open, but the pass was incomplete.
Chin sporting the double twos. He's on the split wide on the near side. Lone back is C.J. Miller, and Klauser's going to throw again. Klauser under some pressure by Damon Gibson, and the ball looks like it's almost picked off. The ball comes in and out of the hands of Ronnie Graham, who played some excellent coverage
on Adam Beck on the center screen. And indeed, Bill, you made the call. Graham almost came up with that ball. That was dangerous because there were a few other red shirts around that football. But excellent coverage. So Klauser comes out throwing, and he's quickly over 2 on the evening.
Ronnie Graham playing with a partial tear in his knee ligament. He says, it's nothing they can do with it. Just got to get used to playing with some pain. Of course, we've seen him play against McKeesport with a separated shoulder. So I think he's used to playing with some pain. Klauser again back to pass under a little bit of pressure by Mark Pitts. The ball thrown deep, and the ball almost picked off. Guylan Hood looking for his 6th interception of the season. Comes in to bat the ball away, intended for Tony Chin.
both Hood and Bonner on the coverage there, and nice play by Garland Hood, good using all of his 6'3" plus sleeping ability to get up, or else that ball gets behind those defensive backs. So Penn Hills obviously defensively, they come out and done what they wanted to do. Kiski showing a little passing attack, but ineffective. We have a flag down.
They'll go against Kiski. No doubt the Indians will decline the holding call. They'll get the ball back. Expect the Indians to rush this punt and try to put some pressure on the Kiski Area Cavaliers. Sean Bonner, the only back deep. I spoke with Neil Gordon last night. He says he thinks he sees a weakness in this Kiski Area punting attack, and he's going to try to get in and block some kicks tonight. The quarterback, Jason Klauser, will punt. And there's a nice pressure, and the kick is blocked, and it's picked up by Damon Gibson. Damon Gibson gets the ball at the 36 and returns to the 31-yard line. And you saw the moves of big Damon Gibson. That's him on the Heisman Trophy.
That's Penn Hills' version of the fridge coming at you. And you mentioned it, Bill, good call. They get in and block the punt. I think one of the things they might have seen was the fact that Klauser was only about 11 yards behind the center. Usually punters will go back about 15 yards. He's about 5 yards too close, and it works to Penn Hills' advantage. Excellent field position.
Now Lenny Gilmer's going to throw the football, but this time he's going to keep it. There's a flag going down in the backfield. This play will come back. It'll come way back. Gilmer rolled to his right, decided to keep the football, but there's a flag deep in the Penn Hills backfield.
Holding against Bill Craver, I believe.
Holding 9 yards deep in the backfield.
So poor Len Gilmer will get a loss of yardage in addition to the 10 yards that they will take on the penalty. I'm sure they'll take it to negate the gain. And I think that was a designed bootleg run all the way. I think there was no intention to pass at all by Penn Hills.
So this will work out to a loss of 19 yards on the penalty. So the ball moved back to the Penn Hills 49-yard line, and it'll be first, and looks like about 29 yards.
It's a whole lot either way.
A lot. And remember, you don't need to get it on one down. And the Indians will try running the football. There's Victor Strader, and Strader almost broke it to the outside, but Joey Perfetta was there to bring Victor Strader down just as he got to midfield.
Got to give credit to Perfetta too, because if he doesn't make that tackle, Strader does get to the outside, gets a 1-yard gain, at least has 10. If he could have brought it to the outside, maybe more, and he smelt that outside, but a nice leg tackle by Joe Perfetta.
Kiski Area Cavaliers in their white jerseys, gold pants, located in the Vandergrift, North Apollo area. It's outside of Leechburg.
Where my relatives live.
Named after the Kiski-Menetas River, which flows through the valley, the Vandergrift Valley, if you will. Single back, man in motion is Dwayne Thompson. Maybe a pitch back to Thompson on the near side, and the Kiski Area Cavaliers looks like they jump offside, but they're pointing to Billy Craver.
I think Craver did come up out of his stance early, and been doing your homework, Bill.
That's good.
You got the history lesson from.
I like that.
Very impressive.
That's a challenge, Dave. Now, what do I win if I spell Kiski-Menetas? Kiskimenetas. How's that? That's also the name of the Leechburg High School yearbook. How about that?
I'm in awe.
Again, it's Thompson in motion. And Lenny Gilmer's going to throw the ball downfield, looking for Garland Hood. There's some contact downfield. No flag on the call, or no call made. Fans wanted a call. Garland Hood was bumped along the sidelines. The officials ruling, I guess, incidental contact.
I got to give credit to Garland Hood. I think once he realized the pass was not catchable, he slowed down and brought his man up closer to him. His man being, what's number 7 there, Bill? Brad Scott. Oh, we got these rosters that are
We knew
herky-jerky.
We knew we were going to get one, but it took until week 9.
But it looked like to me like Hood slowed down to try to draw that penalty, which is intelligent because you know if he did draw the penalty, it would be an automatic first down. Instead, third and 33.
Third a long way.
Third in the Kiski Minnetonka River to go.
And Dwayne Thompson fakes the reverse. He gets into Kiski territory, crosses over midfield. Fake the reverse to Sean Bonner. Kiski wasn't biting, and they were able to pull Thompson to a short gain. And now the Indians will have to punt. So Damon Gibson's punt return went for naught. He's going to enjoy watching this one Monday night. Told me last night he wants to score a touchdown this season.
That was his opportunity right there. The big fella was a rumbling.
So now Jimmy Robles' punt bounces at the 20-yard line. Took a bit of a Kiski bounce, but it'll be down, looks like, at the 18. Jeremy George says it went off a Kiski Cavalier, but the ball was touched by a Penn Hills Indian at the 18-yard line, and that's where Kiski will take over. But a heads-up play by Jeremy George, seeing the ball went off a Kiski player.
Indeed, it'll all go for naught as Kiski will take over the 18, but you saw on the punt by Penn Hills, Roble was 15 yards back behind the scrimmage where Klauser was closer, and maybe that's one of the things Penn Hills saw. But a good punt. It didn't take necessarily a great bounce, but anytime you can start a team inside their own 20, you've done your job with the kicking game.
Well, certainly the Penn Hills coaching staff has been doing its homework.
As always, a well-coached team, the Indians.
So now the I formation, Perfetta and Adam Beck deep. And Perfetta gets introduced to the Penn Hills defensive line, who say there's a loose ball. And the officials say it's a loose ball, and the Indians come up with it. Was it Mark Pitts? Mark Pitts guaranteed a victory before the game this evening. Felt very good. So just like that, the turnover gives the Penn Hills the ball inside the Kiski 20 at the 18-yard line at the original line of scrimmage. So Beck lost no yardage on the play, but gave the ball to the Indians, who are sitting pretty at this moment. Approaching 3 minutes on a running clock here in the first quarter. The Indians up 6-0. Bill Navari along with Bob Orquist. Great to have you along on a Friday evening. Quick handoff, and looks like the Indians might just hand that ball right back to Kiski. But Dwayne Thompson looks like, no, it's Mason Murray who fumbled the handoff, kicked the ball forward. Able to jump on the ball at the 13-yard line, so Murray picks up 5.
We've seen a little trouble all season long, Penn Hills, with the handling of the football. And this time, a fortuitous bounce for Mason Murray and gets the 5-yard gain.
Certainly there have been times this season when the bounce just has not gone the way of the Penn Hills Indians. But fortunately, that time it did. So now again, the power I formation with Mason Murray deep. And again, it's Mason Murray over their left side. Mason Murray down near the goal line. He'll have a Penn Hills Indian first down. It'll be first and goal from the 3.
Give Murray 10 yards. Give credit to Ted Fitzpatrick from the offensive line position. Drove his man downfield. Nice lead blocking for Mason Murray. Inside the 5-yard line at the 3, another first and goal situation for the Penn Hills Indians. And they're sitting pretty already with a 6-0 lead.
Well, you talked about Damon Gibson being the Penn Hills version of the fridge. I posed the possibility of him playing in the backfield down close. And so the coaches just won't let him do it. And there's Mason Murray down close to the goal line. We'll mark it about the 1.5-yard line. It'll be second and goal, but there's a flag down at the 5-yard line.
Some extracurricular activity by Justin Hagofsky and B.J. DiNatale for Penn Hills, and flag went up way late.
So perhaps we'll see if it offsets.
They call it against
sportsmanlike against
Hagofsky.
So it'll cost them
a yard.
Yeah, about 18 inches. Cameraman Dave Anderson on the ball.
It's a first down, though.
So the Indians repeat first down. So it'll be first and goal from the 1. So all in all, the Indians look like picked up about 2 yards on the play. But still, it remains first down.
Ones are wild on the scoreboard.
First
and
one.
The 1. Ball on the 1. Quarter 1.
Approaching 1:11 to go, although we're at 1:40. And there's Mason Murray diving in again for another Penn Hills Indian touchdown. With 1:39 to go in the first quarter, the Penn Hills Indians are up by 12. So now you'd suspect the Indians would go for 2 to make it an even 14-0. If they could, of course, with the line blocking of Mike White, Damon Gibson, Billy Craver, Mike Johnston. You would think they should be able to pick up 3 yards. So it's the power eye. Bonner and Livingston in front of Mason Murray. And Sean Bonner gets the inside handoff and 2 points. So it's now 14-0 Penn Hills with 1:39 to go here in the first quarter.
Exactly going the way Penn Hills wants here in the first quarter. Aside from a few penalties on their second possession, they've capitalized on a turnover. They took the opening kickoff, good field position, and just running the ball down Kiski's throat, and they have a 14-0 lead, 1:39 to go in the first.
So the script going according to plan for these kids, many of them playing their final game here at Andrew U-Haw Stadium. Even if the Indians should make the playoffs this season, they will not play here again. First round of the playoffs, only the conference winners will play at home. Other than that, it's all neutral sites in rounds 2 and 3. Round 3, I believe, is at Three Rivers Stadium, known as Championship Saturday. Brian Fisher again to kick off. Justin Hagofsky and Jeremy Moore down deep. And Hagofsky will take it at the 11. He crosses the 20, 25, still with some running room, but he's brought down by a hand tackle. He's slowed down. Was that Derek Johnson who grabbed him by the waist? Yes, it was. Derek Johnson able to slow Justin Hagofsky down enough to allow the rest of the Penn Hill Indian kicking team to come in and make the tackle. But still a nice run back by Hagofsky. The Cavaliers will take over at their own 37. Looks like their best field position of the game thus far, with under a minute and a half to go here in the first quarter. There's a quick pass out to the near side. Ball almost fumbled by Justin Hagofsky, but Klauser comes out passing again.
Bonner and Thompson on the hit, and Bonner did a nice job. Picture perfect tackle, put his helmet right on the football and almost did jar that football loose from Justin Hagofsky.
We're under a minute here in the first quarter. The entire first quarter seems to have been played to our left here at Andrew U-Haw Stadium.
Well, Kiski's finally on the plus column in yardage.
So the I formation, C.J. Miller and Adam Beck. Klauser's been coming out throwing. And Klauser again will throw the football, and he looks to the left side on a little out pass. That's C.J. Miller. Ronnie Graham brings him down, but not after Miller picks up a Kiski first down at midfield.
Gain of 8 and their first down. Heard another score, Shaler. The team should, any of these teams in the Quad East get in the playoffs. McKeesport already in. Penn Hills looking forward to it. Shaler up 14-0 over North Allegheny. Of course, by the time people watch this game, that'll be academic.
Not only will it be academic, but it'll be over. Perfetta and Beck, and it's Beck with the carry, and Beck gets no more than back to the line of scrimmage as the first quarter comes to a close. After 1 quarter of play, the Penn Hills Indians 14, the Kiski Area Cavaliers nothing. You're watching Indians football here on STP. About to begin, the Kiski Area Cavaliers 2nd and 10 just inside their own territory near midfield. There's a fumble on the snap, and looks like the Penn Hills Indians might just get the football back, and they do. Coming up with the football is Mark Pitts again. Mr. Opportunity.
His second fumble recovery, and I believe he's the man who blocked the punt. So 3 big plays in the first 12 minutes and 5 seconds for Mark Pitts.
Mark Pitts, one of the seniors of the week. They're in the coach's corner in our pregame action. Feeling good about tonight and feeling good. He says the Indians will make the playoffs.
He should be feeling good right now.
Oh, yeah. So the Indians, have they started a possession? Oh, they have. Their first possession was at the 47. So they have not started far from midfield at all in any of their possessions thus far in the first half. Lenny Gilmer's going to come out throwing. He's looking deep. He has a man downfield. There's Garland Hood. There's some contact deep, but no flag on the play. And the ball just overthrown of Garland Hood, who may just have found his offensive niche.
Well, he has speed, but not that much speed. And again, he was out there with the coverage man, number 7, Brad Scott. And this time, I think the contact was more than incidental. I thought on the last time when they were down the near sideline that it was maybe Hood trying to draw contact. This time, I think they just bumped into each other. But the pass was still about 10 yards beyond Hood, so I think that's why we didn't get a flag. And, of course, the official was about 15 yards up the field. He couldn't keep up with either man.
So Garrett Livingston and Dwayne Thompson in deep. And again, Gilmer throws, and this time he hits Garland Hood, who will pick up a Penn Hills Indian first down as he gets knocked out of bounds at the Kiski 33. And we're seeing the developments here, the hatching, the metamorphosis, if you will, of Air Gordon. No, Neil Gordon doesn't like to throw the football much, but now he has the hands of Garland Hood out as a flanker. He doesn't mind putting the ball in the air.
And you saw those hands right there. That ball almost slipped through. He went up high to get that pass, and we talked about his athletic ability, and it's being utilized more and more, especially as he's off of the quarterback position.
Mason Murray on the delayed handoff picks up about 6. And the Indians just continue to pound the ball. Back-to-back passes. Have we seen that to the Indians this year?
Oh, I'm sure we have.
First and second down,
but
up by
on first
14.
and second down, I think the pass on first down was a good idea because you had excellent field position and you try to go deep. And of course, you have to say it's a good idea on the second down because it gained 15 in the first down.
So Ronnie Graham wide to the near side in a power I formation, and Gilmer's going to throw the football, and he has Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson has a Penn Hills Indian first down at the 12-yard line. And the Indians continue to move the ball in this Kiski defense.
Air Gordon. Makes you shudder, doesn't it?
Ooh.
But now Gilmer is 2 of 4, 31 yards, and Penn Hills again sitting pretty already with a 14-0 lead, and they've used the pass. I'm sure now we'll see Lenny Gilmer tuck that ball into the bellies of his running backs.
Garrett Livingston, the up back, Mason Murray deep. And it's Sean Bonner on the inside handoff. Bonner looking for some running room, cuts back to the inside. Getting back almost to the line of scrimmage, but we'll call it a loss of a yard. That play read nicely by the Kiski defense.
Tell you what, Sean Bonner did a nice job just to get a 1-yard loss. He was spinning and ducking and cutting and tried to get it back to the line of scrimmage, but it didn't work. The underneath handoff at a play that's been very effective for the Indians all season.
So the Indians are up 14-0. It's 2nd and 9 from the 13-yard line. 9:43 on a running clock here in the first quarter. Along with my broadcast partner, Bobby Orquist, I'm Bill Navarre, cameraman Dave Anderson doing a stellar job as always. Man in motion is Dwayne Thompson. Again, Thompson in some motion. And it's Victor Strader up the middle. Strader with some running room, crosses over the 10 down to the 9-yard line. He'll pick up 4, but it'll be 3rd down for the Indians, who can get another first down. It's like at the 2-yard line or 1.5-yard line.
Did they get to the 3?
The sticks are posted at
the sticks are closer. I thought this
the 2-yard line.
So we'll call the 12, where this series of downs started after the first down. So they need about 7 yards.
So the Westinghouse football team has stopped by to take in some action tonight. Gilmer with the pitch to Dwayne Thompson. Thompson looking for some running room, and he gets in for the Penn Hills touchdown. Dwayne Thompson found the hole on the right side, and he brought it in from 7 yards out. And the Indians are now up 20-0. And the Kiski area defense has to be wondering, what is rolling over us? And the answer is a healthy Penn Hills offense.
And the answer is it's red and gold, I'll tell you that much. And Penn Hills is just having their way. Second time, well, actually it's the 3rd time now they've taken advantage. Well, nope, they turned the ball over after the punt. They had to punt the football, but
two fumble
recoveries, 2 touchdowns for the Indians offense, and Brian Fisher on to try the conventional extra point.
Again, we'll see the hold out of Victor Strader. Has done a great job all season, but a tough job in practice this week. Strader gets the hold down. The kick is up, and it just gets over the goalpost, the crossbar, and the Indians are up 21-0. That kick looked like it might have been partially blocked again.
Indeed, it was very, very ugly, but it's the end result that counts, and it got through there. And Penn Hills very comfortably up front, 21-0. And Kiski has shown a penchant for passing, obviously. They've thrown 5 passes in their first 3 possessions, but I'm not sure if they have the type of big play offense that can get them back in the game in a hurry.
So the Indians are up 21-0, and certainly on senior night, you wouldn't expect they would be hauling some of these seniors out.
Not right away, anyway.
So kicking off now, Brian Fisher. And the ball will go deep because Fisher kicks it down to the 10-yard line. That's number 24, Justin Hagowski. Hagowski changes field, has some running room on the near side. Brian Fisher tries to tackle him, but he gets blocked out of the way, but he will be forced out of bounds by Don Chichilla. Don Chichilla playing the lane, knocks Hagowski out at the 39-yard line. But there's a flag down at the 29, and it looked like Brian Fisher was blocked from behind.
Tell you what, an excellent move. Nice stop by Hagowski, or it had been tackled at about the 11-yard line. Reversed his position, got good yardage out to the 39, but all for naught. It's going to come back on the illegal block, and Kiski will start once again deep in their own territory.
My question is, what was Brian Fisher doing down there ahead of everyone else?
Well, he's a senior.
Okay.
He's a little charged up tonight. Obviously, let him stay down there if he's going to get blocked illegally.
So he got in there. He did get blocked from behind. And the fog now beginning to roll in here to U-Haul Stadium. So now a nice return by Hagowski. All for naught, as the Cavaliers will take over from their own 14-yard line. Perfetta and Beck in the I formation, but Jason Klauser calls timeout. And the Penn Hills defense likes what it did to force some confusion on the Kiski offense.
I'll tell you what, we're getting close to Halloween because this is very, very scary for Kiski area. I guess we're getting close to Halloween when you see that. Face paint in the crowd. I thought it was Sting.
We don't meet from the police.
No. Sure, that's in
world-class wrestling.
In the correct colors, though. Red and gold.
Red and gold. Red and gold.
That's what Kiski's seen a whole lot of here in the first 16 and a half minutes.
Seeing a lot of the red flash. Tomorrow they'll be seeing black and blue. But so far, so good for the Penn Hills Indians, who just don't seem to be doing much of anything wrong. 21-0 with 8.5 to go here in the first half. And still Damon Gibson looking for his first touchdown of the year.
Yes, he is. Tell you what, Bill, he might have had it. He wasn't tripped up by that infamous 32-yard line.
Hey, when that happens, to learn to jump over those yard lines. Klauser rolling out to his right. He's pursued by Damon Gibson, but the ball intended for number 87, Matt Frederick. The ball thrown behind him. Give credit to Gibson with some pursuit on Klauser.
Definitely forced the bad pass that time.
So now the Cavaliers, who are down by 3 touchdowns, have 2nd and 10 from the 14, and certainly they do not want to turn the ball over this deep in Cavalier territory.
Well, I made mention that their offense is not the quick strike to get you back in a hurry, and the offense that Penn Hills runs is the ball control offense, so that works doubly against Kiski area.
In motion is Justin Hagowski. The inside handoff goes to C.J. Miller. And Miller is introduced to Mike White, along with the rest of the defensive line. They're all dropped in to say hello.
give C.J. Miller 2 tough yards. And again, Kiski Area very, very tentative offensively. You got to give part of that, most of that credit to the Penn Hills defense. But Kiski has not performed very well here in the first half. But good teams will take advantage of that, and Penn Hills is doing it on both sides of the football.
So now Klauser with a quick pass out to the far side. And Justin Hagofsky drops the football. And it's just as well because Umar Rollins was honing in on the kill. But now the Kiski Cavaliers will have to punt from their own end zone. Well, at least close to it. We'll say from the 5-yard line. And we'll see if they can get the pressure.
A different look this time by Penn Hills. They sent 2 men deep. They had 10 men on the line of scrimmage originally. If Klauser does the punting, we'll see if he's, as I mentioned, he was about 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. They're snapping it from the 16, and he's at the 4, so
6 men on the line this time for the
that's about 12
Cavaliers.
Bad snap.
And Derek Johnson almost blocked the punt, but Galen Hood muffs the kick, and Justin Hagofsky is on the bottom of the pile with the football. So a break for the Cavaliers. They'll take over at their own 37-yard line, and Derek Johnson just missed blocking that punt. And a break for the Cavaliers.
Well, Hood fumbles, and he was aggressive in running up a long way to get that football, but he should have used discretion or let it drop and just take your chances right there. You should have had good field position anyway. It wouldn't have taken that good of a roll, and you don't want to go kamikaze like that. It's very, very hard to field a football on a dead run,
right.
And that's what led to the fumble.
I think Hood's think he must have been everything's going well. They're just crushing right now, the Cavaliers, and just honing in on more of a kill.
We'd rather see an aggressive mistake than a passive one anytime.
Klauser throwing to a wide open Hagofsky, but the ball thrown too far to the outside. The ball falls incomplete. It would have been good enough for a Kiski first down near midfield.
So Klauser started off 0 of 3, hit 2 passes in a row for 13 yards, and now he's missed on 3 more. That time, you mentioned it, Hagofsky was wide open, but the pass was just too far to the sideline.
So again, the Cavaliers in a 2nd and 10 formation with 7:02 to go here in the first half. The Indians up 21-0 over Kiski. And again, Klauser's going to throw, this time throwing deep, looking for Chin. And Chin with the over-the-shoulder grab at the 32-yard line. He'll be down at the 30 as flags come in. And it looks like they're calling pass interference against Sean Bonner for some contact. Certainly the contact we've seen in the secondary so far this game with no flags, and we see a flag this time thrown against the Penn Hills Indians. But what a nice catch by Chin.
Excellent catch. That's 33 yards on the completion. We talked about Chin being the favorite receiver of Klauser, and he did a tremendous job to catch that. Of course, they'll decline that penalty and take the gain of 33 yards.
So now I believe this is the first jaunt into Penn Hills Indian territory for the Kiski Area Cavaliers. But now have 1st and 10 on the Penn Hills 30. In fact, we'll call it just inside the 30-yard line as the clock continues to roll, near 6.5 to go here in the first half. Again, the I formation, number 31 is C.J. Miller, number 43 is Adam Beck. We'll see if Klauser continues to throw the football, and it looks like the Indians are going to blitz. They come, there's a quick handoff to C.J. Miller, and Miller sees a lot of number 65.
Damon Gibson, who...
The lights went out to Damon Gibson, who's still looking for that first touchdown of the year.
Well, he talked about very quickly about the size disadvantage, and it's showing in the Kiski Area running game. They are just not getting any positive yardage at all. They've attempted 6 rushes so far, and they are a -2 in the rushing attack. Take away the big 33-yard play that we just saw by Chin and Klauser, and they've basically done nothing against the Penn Hills defense.
So Gibson was in waiting for Feta to hand off the football. And again, another flag will be dropped inside the 5-yard line as the ball intended for Tony Chin falls incomplete. Rashad Flewellen, Sean Bonner, and Guylan Hood in on the coverage, and that'll be a Kiski first down.
Back to faithful, not happy with the call, but I think it had to be made.
I think it was the correct call.
Back to
Gibson on the loss of 2 on the C.J. Miller run. He got into the backfield. It looked like he was waiting for C.J. Miller to get the handoff just so he could wrap the arms around him. He was in the backfield that quick. So now the officials will mark off the 15 yards on the pass interference call, and the Cavaliers have 1st and 10 at the 17. And I certainly think Clouser won't continue to throw the football.
I think you almost have to. You might see something shorter than those long passes, though.
Chin in single coverage to the near side. But this is Adam Beck who gets around the right side, picks up a couple, not much, gets close to the Penn Hills 15-yard line, and that's all. But the Cavaliers have Chin in single coverage with Rashawn Flewellen, who's back in action for the Penn Hills Indians. He was their starting quarterback, but he's been injured all year, and he's just finally getting to see some regular action.
And one of the seniors here at senior night at Andrew Juha Stadium.
Well, Flewellen comes out with Victor Strader coming in. Now Chin and Strader are one-on-one on the near side. Interesting to see if anything comes that way. Agofsky in motion to the right. Clouser's looking, he's looking for Chin on the near side into the end zone. There's Victor Strader, and the ball passes just over his hands and into the arms of Tony Chin. And that's a Kiski area touchdown on a very nice passing play. Clouser to Chin for 18 yards, 6 points, and a Kiski touchdown. At 18 yards or 15 yards? 15 yards. So with 4:51 to go here in the half, Penn Hills up 21-6. Credit Kiski, that was an absolutely beautiful pass. Clouser to Chin. Victor Strader was right there on the coverage, but the pass just over his hands and into the arms of Tony Chin.
We talked about the dangerous combination of Chin and Clouser, and it was effective on that drive. It leads to 6 points for Kiski, and they try to make it 7.
The kick is up, and the kick is good. Joey Perfetto with the extra point. So now with 4:51 to go, the Indians are back up by 14. And that was certainly a gift series for the Kiski Area Cavaliers, who punted the ball. The Indians fumbled it right back on the return to Kiski. 2 pass interference calls, 2 nice catches by Tony Chin, including the touchdown pass from 15 yards out. That should make the highlight film for Kiski this season.
Indeed it should, and you got to give them credit. Penn Hills has capitalized on 2 Kiski Area fumbles, and Kiski Area takes the fumbled punt by Guy LaHood, and they turn it into their first points of the evening, trailing 21-7. But the 2 nice passes and nice catches by Tony Chin and Jason Clouser on that series.
So now the Indians, I'm sure, would like to take the remaining 4:51 to drive on the Cavaliers, perhaps for another touchdown. And again, a squib kick goes to Gylan Hood at the 20-yard line. Hood looking for some running room up the middle, looking for some blocking. It'll be brought down at the 35-yard line, close to the 36. And that's where the Indians will take over with 4:44 to go here in the second.
I'm sure Penn Hills, you mentioned one, in addition to taking that off, they'd like to get some of those points back anyway, and they'd like a nice drive here to not have Kiski's offense come back on the field. They showed life. You have to give them credit. They were down in the dumps and pretty much left for dead after punting the ball away from deep inside their own territory, but the fumbles give them life.
So perhaps a little too overly aggressive on the punt return were the Penn Hills Indians. In turn, it cost them 7 points. Mason Murray up the middle with some running room, close to another Penn Hills Indian first down, and it looks like he has it at the 46.5-yard line. So the last couple weeks, Mason Murray barely able to walk, and now we see him running like he did in Massillon.
Running effectively.
So Murray and Livingston in the I formation. And again, it's Mason Murray who tries to get some running room up the middle. He'll pick up close to 4 yards. It'll be second down for the Indians at midfield.
Once again, Mason Murray, the ball carrier, picking up 3 on that effort.
Senior night here at Andrew Juha Stadium. A chilly night. But through 9 weeks of the season, we've seen absolutely beautiful weather on Friday nights. Again, Mason Murray with some running room over the left side, and Mason Murray is off to the races. Mason Murray crosses over the 20-yard line. Hagowski, the only man to beat, and Hagowski brings Mason Murray down at the 12-yard line as Mason Murray picks up close to 38 yards on that run.
Big play, and Murray, gonna give Hagowski credit to chase Murray down. He had the speed, tried to get to the corner of the end zone. He's already had 2 one-yard touchdown runs. This one would have been 50 yards, but a big first half continues for Mason Murray, and the Indians once again sitting pretty inside the 15 of Kiski area.
Again, it's Murray and Livingston. And again, it's Mason Murray who crosses over the 10 down near the 5-yard line. So the Indians can get another first down if they cross the 2.5-yard line. But they would much prefer crossing the goal line.
Oh, I was thinking on the way over here. I know many people were surprised by that. I've yet to be cold through 9 weeks. Extremely, anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is a blessing in disguise. Thank you very much, yes. Mother Nature.
Oh, it's next week that we'll have snow.
We've had nice weather the entire season so far.
There's Mason Murray crossing over the 5, crossing over the goal line, in for another Penn Hills Indian touchdown. Mason Murray with his 3rd touchdown of the football game puts the Indians up by a score of 27-7 with 2.5 minutes to go here in the first half. And just like that, the Penn Hills Indians come right back down and pick up 7 more points.
Very impressive response to that. And that's got to, if you're Kiski, you're saying, what can we do? We just put together a nice drive to kind of come back into the game, and they do this. They ram it down our throats, and Penn Hills back up by 3 touchdowns, and Brian Fisher on again for another extra point.
I don't think we've seen this many first half points by the Penn Hills Indians since the Seneca Valley game, and that was in week 2 of the regular season. Brian Fisher looking for the point after. Victor Strader on the hold again. And Brian Fisher's kick went straight into the line of scrimmage. Couldn't tell what happened there, but the kick went straight along the ground into the line of scrimmage. And obviously, no good.
Obviously not the place for an onside kick, right? I got to check something here. I think in the Woodland Hills game,
the Indians were up, I think, 6-0 at that.
No. That's not what I'm checking. I'm checking the fact that page fell out of my scorebook. Derek Johnson, or was it Dwayne Thompson who rushed for over 100 yards?
Derek Johnson.
It was Derek Johnson, because we have our second 100-yard rushing performance of the year, unless Mason Murray, of course, gets negative yardage, but he's got 17 carries, 119 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's a game's worth of statistics, and he's got it all in the first half. We haven't even finished the first half.
And with this being senior night, I don't think we'll see Mason Murray rested much in the second half.
Well, you see him play a little bit unless things get out of hand, but he's done the job. He's done it all year, and he said bothered by the ankle the past couple of weeks, showing no ill effects whatsoever of that in this first half. Excuse me.
God bless you.
That was a cough, but thank you. Anyway, I could use the blessing.
Take what you can get. Holoski from the 20-yard line. Holoski submarined at the 25, but he's still on his feet. And about 16 Indians jump on him from there. I didn't see who submarined him, but whoever it was slowed him down enough to allow the rest of the kicking unit to come in and make the tackle. And then Kiski Area Cavaliers will take over from their own 25-yard line. 2:25 to go here in the second quarter. And the cheerleaders are enjoying themselves on the near side of the track. And again, the Penn Hills defense, tough to the task. Mike White with the pressure in the backfield. Klauser forced to run. He picks up a yard. Under 2 minutes to go.
That's a pass, Billy.
So Klauser catches his own pass.
So he's now on the stat sheet as passing and catching. Klauser 1 to Klauser for 1. How about that?
Now, if he caught that for a touchdown, that would be...
No, Neil O'Donnell thought he could throw the ball a second time. And
that was Fran Tarkington in Super Bowl IX.
Yeah, it's true. Everything he threw up. He went to the locker room after that game, threw his helmet. It was batted down.
Klauser rolling to his left. Looking down over the field, he has Agofsky for a Penn Hills Indian for a Kiski first down. So if he catches his own pass for a touchdown, that's 12 points in rotisserie football.
That's correct.
Remember that. I'm sure you would like to see Jim Kelly do that a few times.
More than a few times. At this point, I'd just like to see Jim Kelly throw any kind of touchdown.
Come on, you're still in it. Expect Klauser to throw the football again, and he hands off to Adam Beck. And Beck picks up a yard. So 43 seconds on a running clock here in the first half. 27-7 the Indians lead. Bob Orquist along with Bill Navari, great to have you along on a beautiful Friday night. Our cameraman Dave Anderson doing a stellar job as always. And we'll see if Klauser goes to Chin on the near side, who's in single coverage with Rashawn Flewellen. Klauser under pressure by Derek Johnson. The officials say Klauser went down on his knee, automatically giving Derek Johnson a sack.
It was close. I'm not sure. I know his hand hit the ground, but he might have been under trouble. He tried to duck under Derek Johnson, but he does take the sack and a loss of 7.
So the Cavaliers call timeout with 5 seconds to go in the first half. We'll assume they're going to try probably to throw deep. I'm sure Coach Tim Timko comes into the Penn Hills defensive huddle, is warning his troops of perhaps such a deed.
And I'm not so sure with the performance that Chin had on that previous drive that I'd have him in single coverage.
Certainly not. So with 5 seconds to go, still having a lot of fun here at Andrew Juha Stadium. You see the Penn Hills Indians cheerleaders.
Kind of pyramidal, if you will.
Jody Geidel, captain, along with Megan Flady, the other captain. We've omitted Megan through the season so far, but finally get Megan Flady's name in at week 9. So it's 3rd and 17, which is sort of moot at this point because there are 5 seconds to go here in the first half. The Cavaliers are down by 20. Agofsky wide on the near side, Chin wide to the right with Sean Bonner. Klauser drops to be deep, under some pressure, and he goes under. And that'll be the end of the first half. Looked like Jimmy Roble with the pressure from the right end, forcing the sack. That was Billy Craver giving credit for the sack. So the Cavaliers unable to get the bomb away. And after 1 half, 2 periods of play, the Penn Hills Indians 27, the Kiski Area Cavaliers 7. We'll be back with second half action next here on STP. And Brian Fisher's kickoff goes inside the 10-yard line, and Agowski picks the ball up and
that's where it stays.
Falls down.
Kiski Area has not enjoyed good field position, nor have they enjoyed bad field position really for Penn Hills.
Justin Agowski with the kickoff return. So it'll be 1st and 90.
Theoretically, you are correct.
Klauser under center. Hands off to the left side to Adam Beck. And Beck may cross the line of scrimmage, but Billy Craver and Victor Strader in on the tackle. We'll give Beck half a yard.
Kiski Area has been unable to run the ball in any way, shape, or form this evening.
Got a couple of nice passes, which is about it. I don't think we'll see much of Derek Johnson the rest of the way. If we can catch him on the sideline later. Klauser's pass intended for Logovsky. Pass incomplete. Now Derek Johnson with the, see him in the t-shirt along the bench area. Says it's all good on the back. Looks like he's done for the evening. Perhaps re-injuring his shoulder, which is never a good sign. But the Indians are up by 20, and there's 11:07 to go here in the third quarter. Excellent first half of play by the Penn Hills Indians. Klauser fakes the handoff, rolls to his left. He's under pressure. Damon Gibson misses the sack, but following up is Billy Craver to bring Klauser down at the 7-yard line. Jimmy Robo also had the opportunity to bring down Klauser and miss, but Damon Gibson ran right by him. Could have been an opportunity for Gibson's first TD of the year.
Still looking for the elusive first touchdown. Now 13 carries for Kiski Area. Check that, 12 carries.
Now Klauser will have to punt.
Minus 14 yards on the evening.
And we won't see any pressure this time. Or at least a rush anyway. Land rush. Low snap. Klauser able to get a short kick away. Sean Bonner lets the ball bounce in front of him. It takes a Penn Hills bounce, and the Indians will take over at the Kiski 34-yard line. So Damon Gibson came off shaking his head because he knew that Klauser was out to lunch, and all he had to do was pound him, but he missed. He zigged when he thought he was going to zag. But the Indians now in excellent field position. Just over 10 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
You say he was eating a zag nut. Hasn't had much success running the ball, and he had a couple nice passes, as you mentioned.
Mason Murray gets the ball down to the 27-yard line. Called a pickup of 7 yards.
Klauser 6 of 13 on the evening. He's thrown for 74 yards, and he's been under a lot of pressure. We talked about it earlier in the first half and in the pregame about the size difference, and it's definitely shown.
So we'll call it a pickup of 5 yards. Ball marked originally at the 33 is now marked at the 28. Sean Bonner wide to the far side of the field, the I formation with Mason Murray deep. And Mike Johnson and Damon Gibson went on the snap count, but nobody else did. But there was contact by the Kiski Area Cavaliers, and the Indians get a break. Perhaps lined up in the neutral zone.
It's the old, we'll send 3 guys off on one snap count, and you'll go off sides play. Works every time. That should be very close to a first down, probably short maybe by about half a yard.
I believe you are correct.
Or less. 11 first downs in the first half for Penn Hills, and 5 for Kiski Area, and Penn Hills will be just about a half yard away from their 12th first down of the evening.
Call it 2nd and inches. It's Hoggy Livingston. He slips, but he picks up the first down, or at least close to it. Maybe just short, depending on the spot of the football. Will be just short. No, I'll give him the first down.
Explain to me, Hoggy.
I don't know. You just know that's what he's called.
That's what you call an offensive lineman.
They call them the Hogs. Although Coach Gordon's mom doesn't like that. Pitch back to Murray around the right side. Murray looking for some running room. Gets it. He's inside the 10-yard line. 5. Mason Murray gets down to the 3. First and goal, Penn Hills Indians. The officials will mark it at the 4. We'll move the sticks. Call it a pickup of about 18.
Give him 18. Give him 23 yards on 2 carries now in the second half. So 142. A very productive evening.
And 3 touchdowns.
And there's a group of Kiski Area Cavalier fans that are heading for the exit.
About a 30-minute trip back to Vandergrift.
A couple Penn Hills fans too. There goes some red and gold balloons.
Mason Murray gets inside the 5, down close to the goal line. He's in for the touchdown. Everybody stood there watching, but Mason Murray kept running right through. Wow. So Mason Murray picks up his 4th touchdown of the game, gets close to 150 yards in rushing, and the Indians are up 33-7. 8:17 to go here in the 3rd.
And I'd bet at most one more series for Mason Murray and probably the rest of the starters.
And they start bringing in the subs, and we start earning.
Our keep.
So Brian Fisher again will try the extra points. Sean Bonner to the right. Let's see if the Indians go for the 2. There's a snap. The placement is down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 8:17 to go in the 3rd. The Penn Hills Indians 34. The Kiski Area Cavaliers 7. You're watching Penn Hills Indians football here on STP. So if you're Kiski, do you back it up and go home? Still a lot of time left, but the Penn Hills Indians have just been playing.
They're just way better.
Well.
They're just way better, this team. They should be beating them like this.
Penn Hills Indians are just a way better football team than many teams which may make the playoffs this season. Dear George Novak's suggestion. Dropped two non-conference games. It gives you an extra week for the playoffs. It gets more teams into the playoffs. And those that don't make the playoffs can pick up the 10th game elsewhere, if they wish. Hagowski takes the ball at the 15, looking for some running room up the middle. He gets a little bit of a wedge. And the Cavaliers will take over at their own 45-yard line. Nice running by Justin Hagowski.
An excellent field position.
So the Cavaliers have not been able to do much with field position. Of course, they haven't had much field position so far through this game.
Penn Hills just played outstanding defensively. And offensively, for that matter.
Quick handoff to Joey Perfetta. Perfetta picks up some running room, but Ronnie Graham slams him to the turf as he picks up 8 yards. Ronnie Graham, who leads the Penn Hills Indian defense in tackles.
He's only a sophomore, so you know he will return. Mike White is a sophomore. He's a junior. He'll be back next year. And
Damon Gibson, who is
looking for the elusive first touchdown. He'll have another year to do it.
Well, he scored the last 2 years. He's looking for his first one this year. He wants to score each of his years. This time it's Adam Beck who picks up the first down for the Kiski Area Cavaliers. As they get into Penn Hills territory at the 40-yard line. Anthony DiMaria comes in at defensive end now for the Penn Hills Indians. Anthony, the 351-pound junior. They have some big kids on this Penn Hills Indian football team.
I'll say definitely some big kids.
So Anthony comes in at nose guard. He dwarves Damon Gibson and Mike White. Klauser throwing, again looking for Chin, who's had some open turf, but there's Gylan Hood with his 6th interception of the season. Gylan Hood looking for some running room on the far side of the field, looking for some block. And Gylan Hood gets knocked out of bounds and into the Kiski Area Cavalier bench. Looks like right at midfield. We'll give him 30 yards on the return. Klauser put the ball up intended for Chin, who was open for a split second, but Gylan Hood with his speed come in and just picked the ball off.
Well, that's what the free safety will do. Chin got behind the cornerback, and a free safety's job is to play type of center field. He read the play, got over to the right side of the field, picked the pass off. It was up in the air too long. Great athletic ability, great read by Gylan Hood, and a nice return, 30 yards to midfield. And again, Penn Hills with excellent field position. And that's been Kiski's most effective play, Klauser to Chin. This time, Gylan Hood snipped it out and picked it off.
So looks like Mason Murray's still in the backfield for the Indians, and he is, and he gets the ball He looks like he gets negative yardage, but he breaks a tackle, breaks 2 tackles, and gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Excellent running by Mason Murray. So it'll be 2nd and 10 when it should have been 2nd and 15.
Sure, ideally, a nice drive here for Penn Hills would be about a 6-minute one to almost cap off this quarter, and then you'd see a lot of the subs come in, of course, ending up in a score.
So Mason Murray and Garrett Livingston come out. I see Victor Strader going in, as well as Dwayne Thompson, and the Indians will call their first time out of the first half.
Victor Strader, Dwayne Thompson, only sophomores, Len Gilmer, only sophomore, so there's a lot of returning starters.
Tell you what, this team is going to be stacked next season. They will be absolutely stacked.
We talked about it, only, what, 13 seniors?
13 seniors.
So you're not losing, there's not a big amount of turnover.
You'll be losing your kicker, Brian Fisher.
Umar Rollins and Gallon Hood.
Umar Rollins, Gallon Hood is senior. Sean Bonner, Derek Johnson, Mason Murray is senior. There's also Mike Johnston, the center. Billy Craver, the big offensive lineman, and Jimmy Roble.
David Hatcher, also a senior. And we're missing one.
Brian Fisher, Umar Rollins,
No.
Gallon Hood,
Maybe it's me.
Sean Bonner, Derek Johnson, Mark Pitts. Mark Pitts, we didn't mention Mark Pitts. We talked to him tonight.
Pitts.
And we didn't mention Mark Pitts. Mason Murray.
Rashawn Fluellen.
Fluellen.
Mark Pitts, too, blocked the punt and recovered 2 fumbles in the first half, so I apologize.
Pitch back to Victor Strader on the near side, looking for some running room. He crosses over the 40, and he dives into the Kiski defense and is brought down at the 34-yard line. There's a flag in the secondary of the Kiski Area Cavaliers. Perhaps a clip, but is a hold against the Penn Hill Indian offense. They mark it off from the spot of the foul.
Hatcher is marked as a senior, but he's not, correct?
David Hatcher left the team, as far as I am aware.
So that would be, if they mark it from the spot of the foul, that would be no, it wouldn't be a first down, it would be a continuation. So Strader would get credit for a 1-yard carry
instead of
an 11-yard or 14
or thereabouts. Yeah.
Or thereabouts. So 2nd and 9 now for the Indians in Kiski territory at the 49.
5.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. And there's Mason Murray again. Mason Murray adds, looks like, we'll give it 3 yards to his total. And it'll be third down. That will be third down. Have we seen the Indians punt yet?
One time, Jim Roble punted and pinned Kiski at their 18.
Oh, that's right. He got the ball that rolled in to the deep in Kiski territory, and they gave the ball right back on a fumble. Kiski did.
That is correct.
So Hoggy, Livingston, and Mason Murray in again. There comes Sean Bonner. Look for the double reverse, and there it is. Sean Bonner looking for some running room. Needs a block. He breaks 1 tackle in the backfield. Sean Bonner still looking for some running room, and he can only break so many. Nice pressure on the play by Jason Breach of the Kiski Area Cavaliers, with Sean Bonner in negative yards this football game, carrying the football.
-8.
Doesn't do well for the yards per carry average. So now Jimmy Roble will come in for his second punt of the football game. As I said, you have Jimmy Roble and Brian Fisher graduating, but Dave Zakia, who is a sophomore, does a fine job at kicking the football. Also one of the backup quarterbacks. So Roble on a short kick, but very high, gets a nice Penn Hills bounce, and it'll be down at the 27-yard line. So Kiski will take over with 3:48 to go in the third, trailing by 27 to the Penn Hills Indians. The ball will be at the 34-yard line.
Elsewhere in the Quad East tonight, Woodland Hills is at Fox Chapel. Central Catholic hosts Plum, or Plum, that's tomorrow afternoon, I think.
Tomorrow afternoon.
That's Woodland Hills tonight. Obviously, they'd be favored to win that game over winless Fox Chapel.
Although I was impressed with Fox Chapel's defense last week.
Defensively, they played well. They kept their team in the game. Offensively, can't say the same.
Klauser rolling to his right, looking to throw the football. He has Chin, and it's in and out of the hands of Chin on the near side with Umar Rollins on the coverage. Tony Chin looked like he had the football, but it went in and out of his hands at the 40-yard line on the near side. And again, we see Anthony DiMaria in at nose tackle for the Penn Hills Indians. Put Anthony in between Damon Gibson and Mike White. You have over half a ton of linemen.
Throw Hudell Mickens in there. Another 300-plus pounder.
Inside handoff to C.J. Miller, who looks like he's close to a Kiski first down. You have Mike White at 288. He seems to be the small one of the crew. Anthony DiMaria at 351. Damon Gibson is 302. Guess if you throw in Hudell at 318, he's right in the mix. Billy Craver, who's being rested, is at 305. Some big kids on this team.
Where's the beef? There it is.
Yeah. Here comes the blitz by the Penn Hills defense. Ronnie Graham with some pressure, and the ball tipped by Mark Pitts coming from the right defensive end as the Cavaliers tried to set up the screen to the far side. Read nicely by the Penn Hills Indians, who came with the blitz. And Mark Pitts gets the hands up and bats the ball away. Nice play.
And Pitts has played an excellent ball game tonight. His final appearance on the turf here at Andrew J. Uha Stadium, and he's made it a worthy one.
Still positive, very positive kid, says the Indians will make the playoffs. Still positive, very positive kid, says the Indians will make the playoffs. Of course, if this Penn Hills Indian team does get into the playoffs, I think they will make some noise. We'll discuss that more next week. Klauser with the handoff to C.J. Miller, who's brought down by the shirt. That was Mike White, who grabbed and held on and allowed the rest of the Indians to come in for the kill. So it'll now be third down for the Cavaliers. Third down, and it's 8 yards to go. They get a long 7. Approaching 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Indians up by 27. Klauser looking to the pass. Has Miller on the far side. Miller catches the football inside Penn Hills territory at the 46-yard line. That'll be good enough for it. Kiski first down with 1:51 to go here in the third. Klauser and Chin combination has been making some noise this evening.
Third time they've hooked up, 13 yards on this pass. First completion of the second half. That's 3 catches for Chin for 61 yards and the touchdown.
See former Penn Hills athletic director Chuck McGinley in attendance tonight. Used to have to come to these games. Now he comes to them because he wants to. Klauser to Beck. Beck with some running room up the middle. Garrett Livingston and Mike White's in on the tackle. Give Beck a pickup of 4 yards. And Hudell Mickens coming into the game. Mike White coming out. So Hudell at 318. So the Indians just added 30 pounds to their defensive line by bringing in Hudell and resting Mike White. So look at the front three. You see Damon Gibson, Anthony DiMaria, and Hudell Mickens. What the Kiski offensive line has to be thinking. And again, Penn Hills comes with the blitz. And again, read nicely by the Penn Hills defense as Garrett Livingston brings Adam back down in the backfield.
Dwayne Thompson also able to submarine him, and they've done a tremendous job all night of stopping that play. Matter of fact, they've stopped almost every running play that Kiski has thrown at them. It's just they've had a tremendous performance, and games are won or lost in the line of scrimmage, and you can say, well, it's 34-7, but that's where this game has been dominated by Penn Hills.
Third and 8 now for Kiski. Klauser's going to pass, but he's just sucked right under by the blitzing Ronnie Graham. And the best thing about Ronnie Graham is he'll be here for 2 more years after this one. He just blitzed and brought Klauser, and as soon as Klauser looked up to throw the football, all he saw was number 89, and Ronnie Graham brought him down in the backfield. A loss of 3 yards on the sack. It'll be 4th and 11 as the third quarter comes to an end. With 12 minutes of football to go on the final home game of the 1994 season for the Penn Hills Indians. It's Penn Hills 34, Kiski 7. You're watching Penn Hills Indians football here on STP. Begin as the Kiski Cavaliers punt again. Slight pressure by the Penn Hills defense. And Sean Bonner with some running room, bootlegs around the near side. Sean Bonner looking for some running room, needs a block, and Sean Bonner could go. He gets the block. Sean Bonner now off to the races. Sean Bonner 30, 1 man to beat. Sean Bonner steps the sideline in for the touchdown.
Yellow on the field.
There it is on the far sideline at the 30-yard line. Sean Bonner just went 80 yards on a punt return.
Could be all for naught.
But the banana peel is at the 31-yard line. And we'll see what the officials have to say as they come walking back to the site of the flag.
Well, you know, usually on a return type, it's an illegal block. And that was a tremendous run by Sean Bonner. He did that all on his own. He beat about 5 tacklers up there on the near sideline, but unfortunately, it's a coming back.
Well, never a lack of excitement by this Penn Hills Indian team.
So instead of a touchdown, they will start 1st and 10 at about their own 16.
It was about 80 yards on the punt return?
Matter of fact, it was. 80 exciting yards, and all Sean Bonner gets is winded for nothing.
Well, that may make the highlight real. So instead of 40-7, it remains 34-7. 11:40 to go here in the football game. The Penn Hills Indians have Garrett Livingston and Dwayne Thompson. And it is Dwayne with some running room. Dwayne crosses over the 20-yard line. We'll mark it at the 22. Pickup of 6 yards. As Thompson bites off a couple of tacklers, does a nice job to pick up the 6. Is that Murray or Thompson?
I thought it was Thompson.
That's what I thought. Mason Murray in the football game. There's Mason Murray, some running room up the middle. Mason Murray is off to the races. Mason Murray crosses over midfield. Mason Murray 40 to 30. Mason Murray, 1 man to beat. Mason Murray
Out of bounds.
out of bounds at the 4. Yikes, and away. Mason Murray rumbles from the 22 to the 6-yard line.
72 yards.
That should push him well over 200 yards on the evening.
How about 24 carries? 226 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Almost had his 5th.
It's not a bad evening's work, huh?
No, not at all. So Murray still in again in the power I formation. Bonner and Livingston up. And there's Mason Murray, this time caught in the backfield. Nice read by the Kiski Area Cavaliers, number 56, Mark Brinkin on the tackle. And Mason Murray's stats go backwards just a bit as he loses 3. But Mason Murray took that ball off the left side, went off tackle, and just was off to the races. And unfortunately stepped out of bounds at the 6. So now split backs, Hoggy Livingston and Mason Murray. And Lenny Gilmore will keep it around the right side. He's hog-tied from behind, but Gilmore does a nice job to get the ball back to the 5-yard line. Mike Ost grabs him by the neck. Kept Gilmore from picking up more. It'll now be 3rd and goal for the Penn Hills Indians from the 5-yard line. What a night by Mason Murray on his final home game.
Tremendous.
Of course, the Penn Hills Indians coaching staff heading up to IUP tomorrow to see a couple of Penn Hills grads going head-to-head for the PSAC East title. Lenny Gilmore with the quick look in. Touchdown, Penn Hills. Don Chichilla coming from the left side on a quick look in, and the Penn Hills Indians are up 40-7. Chichilla with his first touchdown of the season. The young sophomore, 6 foot, 155 pounds. It's a nice catch. Ball thrown low and behind. Chichilla did a nice job to get down and catch the football.
I'm sure now that will be it for most of the starters. And a nice quick pop to Chinchilla. Made a nice catch. Larry Jackson and Steve Russell.
Very good.
Did I get that right?
Very good, Bob. Name the teams, though, obviously.
Larry Jackson,
IUP.
running back for Edinburgh, and Steve Russell is the split starting quarterback for IUP. Splits time with Ken Ferguson.
Kick is good, 41-7 now Penn Hills, but Steve Russell of late has been taking the starting duties as the IUP Indians get back on track.
Was playing defensive back for a while, which he did here at Penn Hills.
So another former Penn Hill Indian coaching on the coaching staff of the IUP Indians. Dave Johnson, 1979 graduate. So the Indians go 87 yards in 5 plays, I believe. The big play, the 76 yards on the run?
72.
72-yard run by Mason Murray. Pushes him over 200 yards. He now has 25 carries and
25, 223.
25 carries, 223 yards. About a 9-yard per carry average. Check the paper tomorrow. You should see Mason Murray's name at the top where it says leading rushers. Fisher's kickoff goes to the 10-yard line where Hagofsky takes it. Hagofsky looking for some running room around the right side. Victor Strader misses 1 tackle. And nice pressure, we're able to stop him as Brian Franklin, who slows Hagofsky, enabling the rest of the Penn Hills Indians to come in and make the tackle. So now 9:25 to go in the football game. And still we see the seniors in on defense.
Well,
Mark
it's their
Pitts,
night.
Scott and Hood.
They kind of deserve it.
Rashad Flewellen also in.
I'm sure a classy way to do it is put them into the game and have them come off.
Absolutely.
Have them get some well-deserved ovations.
Don Chichilla in at cornerback on the far side of the field. Bowser's going to look to throw. Mark Pitts with some pressure. But Tony Chin catches the football. Looks like about a yard game. He came back to catch the ball, but slipped. In high school football, knee touches the ground, you're down. So he caught the football, picked up about 6 inches. So 2nd and 10, nearing 8.5 minutes to go in the game. The Indians up by 34. The Cavaliers just overmatched tonight.
Overmatched indeed.
Everyone knew the snap count except for the center. This is slightly behind. We called procedure. Marked 5 yards off against the Kiski Cavaliers. Next week, we travel out to Monroeville, Gator country. The Indians and the Gators in what used to be a very big rivalry. Starting to get back that way again as Russ Gratton brings the Gators back to prominence.
He was in the situation just like Larry Kunzelman has been in, replacing Dick Diltz. He replaced the longtime legendary head coach Pete Antamarino at Gateway.
Klauser rolls to his right. He's under pressure, gets the pass away. And C.J. Miller is hit by Garrett Livingston as soon as he catches the football. Picks up only 4 yards. It'll be 3rd and 10. We'll call it 11 for the Kiski Area Cavaliers. It's got to be difficult to come in coaching after a legend. Or obviously like Pete Antamarino or Dick Diltz. People expect quite a bit.
Of course, your favorite legendary high school coach would be Lindy Lauro.
Lindy Lauro of Newcastle.
You were there for, what was it, win number 500?
600.
Win number 600. Holy cow, that's a lot of wins.
Klauser drops back to pass. Klauser looking downfield for Tony Chin. And Chin catches it.
Nice
Good
catch.
enough for a Kiski first down. Garrett Livingston on the coverage. But a nice catch by Tony Chin. Tony Chin very impressive tonight on some of the passes he's pulled in.
And I believe Chin will be back. I think he's listed as a junior. He is.
So we'll see Tony Chin again next season, but at Davis Field. This will be a lot of the Kiski Area Cavaliers, the seniors and juniors. This will be their last trip to Juhas Field.
It's a beautiful sight.
Juhas Stadium.
Davis Field is picturesque.
It's a postcard. If you haven't been there, you should go next season to see this field. Klauser looking deep for Chin, who's behind the defense at the 20-yard line. Chin catches the football, and he's brought down at the 10. Tony Chin got behind Umar Rollins and Rashawn Flewellen. Also Brian Franklin in on the coverage. And Don Chichilla. But Chin got behind everybody. And had to wait for the football. Davis Field, I think, was once also a baseball stand. It has the grandstand on the one end. The old Forbes Field type grandstand.
And the big gold K on top of the flagpole that shines in the sun.
Listen, a lot of folks can sit around the stadium on their back porches and watch the football game right in the heart of Vandergrift. Right off route, I think that is either 56 or 356. Klauser again looking for Tony Chin over the middle. Tony Chin, the ball thrown behind him. He had to step on Don Chichilla, but the pass was not there. It'll be 2nd and 10 now.
Tell you what,
Kiski.
Bill, Klauser and Chin have been a nice combination. Klauser's now 11 of 22 for 141 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Chin has 6 receptions for 111 yards. He pulled in the 15-yard touchdown. They've been obviously the most effective duo on the field for the Cavaliers.
Shining stars, if you will. They've been very effective. Of course, Chin pulling in the very nice 15-yard touchdown pass over the shoulder catch.
At which point it was 21-7.
So that brought them right back into the football game. It's been all
For
Penn
a little
Hills
bit, but then
that.
Penn Hills had a nice drive, capped off by a 6-yard Mason Murray run, and it's pretty much been all
It took
Indians
about 4
since.
plays to put the ball in the end zone after Kiski scored.
For Penn Hills, offensive player was Dwayne Thompson, defensive player Vic Strader. Their photos are on display at Burger King on Frankstown Road. Photos courtesy of Dream Photography. Congratulations again, Dwayne Thompson.
So 6 minutes and 27 seconds remain. The Indians up by 34. I suppose we can turn the lights out on this one.
I want to make it difficult to play the last 6:27 then, would it? Well,
Everyone would be in the dark.
they pretty much handled Kiski the way they wanted to. They've almost played a perfect game tonight, Penn Hills.
Eric Longo comes into nose tackle. Anthony DiMaria moves off center. Klauser looking again for Chin into the end zone. And the ball goes in and out of the hands of Marcus Woods, who's also in the area. Marcus Woods and Justin Holovsky. I see Tony Chin in on that play.
Well, that's the one major weakness, I guess, we've talked about all year for the Penn Hills defense has been their secondary. They've allowed some big passing plays, and even though they're up big 41-7 here, they've still given up almost under 50 yards passing yardage.
But the saving grace for the secondary, at least, has been their defensive line, which has put a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks.
Definitely.
That haven't been able to get enough time to throw a lot of the deep passes, and they've only been able to come away with short passes. We saw that last week at Fox Chapel.
That's correct.
With Jason Funke. We expected him to throw the football deep, but he did not have the time to set up in the pocket. There's an inside handoff to Joe Perfetta, but some movement on the line of scrimmage. Should mark 5 yards off of Kiski Area Cavaliers. It'll be 3rd and 15.
All of a sudden, this game is in a time warp.
6:18 to go now. So it'll be 3rd and 15 from the 16-yard line, about from where the Cavaliers scored their only touchdown of the game thus far, that being in the second quarter.
Let's see if they call the same play, that little fade-out timing pattern in the left corner of the end zone to Tony Chin.
That comes on the near side. It looks like Damian Germany would be in the man coverage on Chin. And indeed, Tony Chin comes to the near side. And Umar Rollins is the free safety. Let's see if he cheats to the near side. And there it is. Klauser's looking for Chin in the end zone. In fact, no, he's not. He's looked over the middle. And there's a flag. Looks like Don Chichilla was all over Mike Ost. So that'll be a pass interference call, and it'll give Kiski a first down at about the 8-yard line. Pass interference, a 15-yard penalty in high school football. They don't mark it at the spot of the foul.
Half the distance.
But in this case, it would be a half the distance calls. That's why we go to the 8.
That's correct. And the time warp continues. We've been in this between 7 minutes and 6 minutes for the past 13 minutes, I think.
We'll have to see if we can coax Mr. DiMartino into letting the clock run a bit.
Let the complete one. At least the clock would keep running to keep him out of the end zone.
Quick inside handoff and a touchdown to Joey Perfetta. I'm sorry, that's C.J. Miller, excuse me, number 31, C.J. Miller. 8-yard run. And again, the Cavaliers are on the board, and some Kiski faithful say yay. So now it's 41-13. So if you're Kiski, do you kick the point or do you go for 2?
It doesn't really matter, Bill. Unless you're on a block pull.
Then it matters.
Yeah, they're going to go for 2, and why not?
Absolutely. You work on getting the 2. Klauser's going to throw the football, looking for Chin. The ball in and out of the hands of Chin. Got Umar Rollins on the coverage. So the point after, no good. With 6:08, still with 6 something. 6:08 to go here in the fourth quarter. It's the Indians 41, the Cavaliers 13. You're watching Indians football here on STP. The Indians faithful still enjoying this football game. Sort of a perfect night for football.
Clearing wise, you definitely want it a little bit chillier, and perfect conditions, dry. Dry and chilly. I guess that's what you're perfect, and no wind.
Short kick by the Kiski Area Cavaliers, but Errol Clinton Scott's knee came down at the 23-yard line. Thought perhaps DeMond Gibson might have been deep to receive the kick. So he is such a personable kid. You got to know him. Of course, I just found out a couple weeks ago he's my neighbor, and I didn't even know it.
He's a great talent.
Yes, he is. Lives up the street from me, and I didn't even know it. Bernie Puchka in at quarterback. Now we see the subs. Rob Saunders with the pickup. Call it 5 yards.
I'm sure you see a lot of Saunders and Clinton Scott. And you already mentioned Bernie Puchka in at quarterback.
This time is number 24, Clinton Scott. No relation to Bill Clinton.
And in many people's eyes, thankfully.
Picks up a yard as the clock continues to roll. So 3rd and 4 for the Indians. Saunders and Scott in the I formation. And again, it's Scott who runs into Puchka. But Scott comes around the right side, gets forced out of bounds, close to a Penn Hills first down. See where the mark is. Brian Coleman. So backup quarterback warming up on the sideline.
Short by about 2 yards, Scott. No,
that's still the 3rd down marker.
That's correct.
I was confused for a moment too, wondering what was.
They didn't set the sticks. Now they're going to come way across the field for the measurement. Which we can't see.
We'll see the all important spot of the football. All you can see is Chad Boy and
6 inches.
Nick Brown. You can see it through there?
I saw the referee said 6 inches. He said this much. That'd be about 6 inches. Because we couldn't see it through the massive legs on the Penn Hills sideline.
Namely Chai Boyd, number 82.
Timeout, Penn Hills.
So it's 4th and just a little bit with 4:35 to go. And again, the Indians up 41-13. Along with my broadcast partner, Bob Orquist, cameraman Dave Anderson, I'm Bill Navari. Certainly was a very exciting game, Penn Hills fan-wise, for a while there, but we've slowed down very much here in the 4th quarter. Big story of the game, senior, number 29, carries the ball 25 yards and picks up quite a lot. 223 yards, was that, Bob?
223 on 24.
223, 4 touchdowns?
4 touchdowns.
Almost got his 5th on the 72-yard run, but officials saying he went out of bounds at the 6-yard line. But what a night for his final home night by Mason Murray. How could you not give him the offensive player of the game this week?
He'll get a well-deserved Big Mac. No.
Oh.
A Whopper. Excuse me.
Whoppered.
Excuse me.
Penn Hills Indians go for it on 4th and just a bit. Rob Saunders picks up the just a bit and a bit more. The Indians get a first down, and as soon as they set the sticks, there we go. We start rolling the clock again at 4:27 on the running clock. And the Indians, I'm sure, would be in no hurry. Times like this would be a wonderful time to go over the Gardner point system.
Break it out.
And again, the Indians run into the line of scrimmage. If you wish to explain it, you're more than welcome.
It's 100 points for every win over a conference opponent, plus 10 points for every win that they have, correct? Something like that.
I believe so. Plus, you get points if you win by more than 10.
Correct.
Now, we're going to get into Gardner points. You talked about the WPIAL tiebreakers. That's only for 2 teams.
I would give Woodland Hills has unofficially 440 Gardner points, and Central and Penn Hills are right around 270, 280. That's on Gardner points. On WPIAL points, Woodland Hills is +20.
Rob Saunders on the pitch to the left side gets stopped for a loss.
Penn Hills +17 and Central +8.
Okay. So Penn Hills and Woodland Hills are neck and neck Gardner points-wise. But still need Central to
Woodland Hills has 440, but should they lose, they would get minus points.
Right.
So that's how everything would even out next week. Now, depending on what happens tonight, major upset by Fox Chapel makes things a lot more favorable
clearer
for Penn Hills.
Absolutely, and Bernie Puchka is just slammed to the turf by Joe Vaglia on the 3rd and 13. It'll bring up a 4th down for the Indians, and I'm sure this time they shall punt the ball. So what the Central Catholic Vikings need, to make the playoffs is the Penn Hills Indians to lose
to Gateway,
and they need to win tomorrow afternoon against Plum and next week against Woodland Hills.
That's correct.
3-way tie would put Central Catholic, I think, at maybe not in 3rd, but I don't think they'll top Penn Hills. But we'll know more next week. We'll be able to figure this all out and see how things will go.
Some intensive research. We'll find Mr. Gardner and shake him.
I think somebody already did and shook him muchly.
Nice punt.
Jimmy Roble with an excellent kick.
That's a live play.
What is going on here? Somebody's going to... I'm waiting for Jeremy Moore to start running the football back, but everyone stands there and looks at him. I think he thought the ball was downed.
You know, how reminiscent of that if you watch any NFL games over the weekend? Bailey of the Rams
picked it up off
in the end zone. It's sitting around and no one. The teams are changing field. There's 25 players on the field. Yeah. He picks it up, goes 103 yards for a touchdown, and he could have ran that ball. The referee was just waiting for them to play.
He stood there watching, and I think he might have been waiting for the Indians to walk away. But still, on that Rams long touchdown, no flag for too many men.
No flag. Well, how could you? You'd have to flag both teams. And
offset, touchdown, good.
It's a strange game.
Oh, yes. But the clock runs at 1.5 minutes to go. And Jeremy Moore, close to a 1st down for Kiski. So if Penn Hills should win next week by 10, and Central becomes our best friends and knocks off Woodland Hills, I think the edge would have to go to the Penn Hills Indians.
Definitely would go to them in the WPIAL tie-breaking system.
But with the 3 teams, you go to the G points.
As far as the Gardner points, well, those are harder to figure out.
Of course, we can always root for Fox Chapel tonight, too. Or do they play tomorrow?
That is correct.
They play tonight?
They're playing tonight at Fox Chapel. Tonight.
Hopefully Mike Sasson with a big game tonight for the Fox Chapel Foxes, as well as Jason Funke. Under 1 minute to go in the game, nearing 40 seconds on the final home game for Brian Fisher, Umar Rollins, Skyland Hood, Sean Bonner, Derek Johnston, Mark Pitts, Mason Murray, Billy Craver. Am I missing anybody? Jimmy Roble. Well, covered everybody. Their final home game, and I'm sure they're hoping that next week at Gateway is not their final game of the year. Now, if Penn Hills should make the playoffs, I have a feeling that would be going to the Quad South, the Quad West winner. Maybe Connellsville.
No, Connellsville's in the South.
In the South? Oh, they are, okay. Mount Lebanon's the
Upper St. Clair is leading the West.
I keep wanting to call them the South because they're in the South Hills.
And the surprising Shaler Titans are leading the North, although
who knows?
You don't think highly of the Quad North Conference.
Are my thoughts. I give respect to Jim Rankin's team.
It's not the Quad East.
The Quad East, I'll tell you, should Penn Hills make the playoffs, you would think the Indians would be in a bracket opposite the McKeesport Tigers. But of course, I'm sure the WPIAL and its infinite wisdom would not do that.
Well, one thing's for sure is they wouldn't play them in the first round because you can't play conference opponents in the first round.
But I think the only team, there are 2 teams I think can beat McKeesport. There are Penn Hills and McKeesport. 11 seconds to go. This should be the final game of the final play of the game. Jeremy Morgan at quarterback, throwing the football deep to a wide open Alan Edney. And Alan Edney's brought down at the 30-yard line with 2 seconds to go. They'll move the sticks, but I don't know if Kiski can get up and, well, they have a timeout, so they'll have one more play. So irregardless of whether or not they score on this play, the Indians still come out with the win and the plus 10-point advantage.
That is correct.
For the Gardner points. But now it's just, I guess, a matter of pride.
For Kiski.
And Penn Hills.
Definitely. A matter of pride. So the just win, baby philosophy continues.
The Penn Hills Indians doing what they have to do. Of course, whenever you have to rely on other folks, that sort of binds your hands.
Next Friday night will be Chapter IV of the just win philosophy.
Yes, Chapter 4. Or the Penn, Yale, Harvard. If you wish. Certainly hope we'll see you folks at Gator Stadium in Gator Country next Friday night. This will be the final play of the game. And it doesn't amount to much as Jeremy Morgan is flushed out of the pocket. There are no flags, Mr. DiMartino. And that'll be the final play of the game. Final score, Penn Hills 41, Kiski 13. Let's quickly wrap this thing up, Bob.
Well, give all kinds of credit to Penn Hills, both their starting defensive and offensive line. They dominated the game offensively. Mason Murray, the big horse, 24 carries, 223 yards, 4 touchdowns, but the game was definitely one up front, and Penn Hills had a decided size and experience advantage over Kiski, and they were definitely the better team, and they played the way they should, and they dominated the football game because of the line play, and they just played an outstanding game, and it shows in the score, 41-13.
Offensively, as you said, Mason Murray, I think defensively, give a lot of credit to Ronnie Graham coming off his knee injury to play again this week. He was in a lot as well defensively for the Penn Hills Indians. Of course, they played very well all around tonight. You said the line play, the secondary played well, the linebacking core played exceptionally well. The Indians doing what they need to do to stay alive in the playoffs, and they are. Now they're rooting for Central Catholic to do what they need to do. And one can only light a lot of candles and say a lot of novenas.
Powerful novenas at that.
Very powerful ones. So, of course, you're saying it for Central Catholic, so hopefully somebody is
Penn Hills
sympathetic.
Is, excuse me, 6-3 overall. They're 4-2 in the Quad East, and they're guaranteed a winning season, obviously. They can only finish no worse than 6-4. Kiski drops to 4-5, and they're now 2-4 in the Quad East.
So, of course, congratulations to Neil Gordon and the Penn Hills Indians for what is guaranteed to be a winning season, although I'm sure they would feel it would be a bit of a sour season should they not make the WPIAL playoffs. Of course, if this was a few years ago, whenever 3 teams from each conference made the playoffs, when they had the extra week of playoffs, the Indians, I'm sure, would be looking forward to heading into the playoffs at this point, but unfortunately, only 2 teams make the playoffs from each conference, and right now it's McKeesport who have clinched and Woodland Hills who is in the driver's seats. We can only hope other teams do what they have to do. Again, the final score, the Penn Hills Indians 41, the Kiski Cavaliers 13. Next up for the Penn Hills Indians, the Gateway Gators next Friday night at Gateway Stadium. Hopefully we'll see you there. For cameraman Dave Anderson, broadcast partner Bob Orquist, I'm Bill Navari. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to seeing you again next Friday night at Gator Stadium. Good night, everybody.
Okay, the next